I can't stop looking at my phone, and I'm sure we'd all concede that we spend too much time on them.
Use your phone a lot?
I do, and my parents would say I'm addicted to it.
Many people feel addicted to their devices, glancing down at their cell phone when it buzzes or dings. Well, now a new study shows it's getting worse.
What's been becoming more apparent to me is how our constant use of smartphones is negatively affecting our chances of financial success. No, I'm not talking about something as trivial as buying a new app or wasting your time scrolling TikTok. There's something going on here that's a lot more impactful than we all realise, and if you're not happy with your financial situation, this may genuinely play a big part in that. This isn't one of your motivational or self-help guru videos on why you need to stop scrolling. So in this video, I'm going to be using the help of a few incredible scientific studies to 1. Help you identify if this issue is affecting you, 2. Explain why it's impacting your personal finances in a sinister way, and 3. Tell you how to mitigate these issues to improve your long-term financial life and how we can even use the negative effects of excessive phone use to our advantage. So to start, I'm going to give you a really great word that I don't think I'd ever used before this video. That word is ubiquity. The definition of ubiquity is, well, a bit naff, but in the context of this video, we're referring to the fact that our smartphones can be used at any time, anywhere, and for more or less anything. I mean, just look at what we have at our fingertips. The ability to trade stocks with no friction, move huge sums of money around at the click of a button, and get financial advice from a seemingly ever-increasing pool of professionally qualified individuals. So what's the problem? Am I just having a dig? Well, a bit. But more importantly, the effects of ubiquity on phone users has been documented in a handful of studies, and the conclusions of most of these studies note 3 key permanent behavioural changes of chronic phone users: an increase in short-sightedness, impulsivity, and seeking instant gratification. Now, these clearly are not great characteristics to have if you're looking for long-term financial success. But it's no surprise, is it? How can we expect the TikTok dopamine binge culture to not bleed into the more serious areas of our lives, like our finances? Alright, nothing I've said so far is particularly surprising, I know, but I think the link to personal finance success is an interesting one. So how do these behavioural changes actually affect things? Well, at the more extreme end of the scale, it can lead to things like this.
Once seen as a survivor in a struggling market, the fall of FTX has sent shockwaves through the cryptocurrency industry. So, what went wrong?
Our increased impulsivity has definitely left many of us more vulnerable to trying to jump on the next big thing, instead of staying the course with our tried and true investing approach that we know will work in the long term. On the more benign side of things is just the lack of consistency or short-sightedness with investing.
Millennials ages 18 to 24 have less than $1,000 in their savings account, while nearly half had nothing saved at all.
While looking at millennials above the age of 24 is more promising, the rate of millennials with $0 saved is on the rise.
Just look at this study. Across the board, people were more likely to opt out of investing in long-term investments like their 401k simply by being given the choice on their phone versus their laptop. There truly is something about this device that changes us and the way we process our decisions. This study focuses heavily on the 3 characteristics mentioned before, but another that I feel plays a big part here is just how flippant we've become with our finances. I remember back in the day my old man getting dressed up and gathering excessive amounts of paperwork just to go down to the local bank and move some cash to a new savings account. There is an air of seriousness about things when you have to be that deliberate. Now we can quite literally pull all of our life savings and pump it into the latest coin in a matter of minutes. There are pros and cons to this flexibility, of course, but I think there's merit in acknowledging how it's made us treat our finances with less respect in general. Look, I'm not about to list off ways to reduce your phone usage. There are plenty of great videos covering that topic, and to be honest, I don't think that's even the solution here. This is a personal finance channel, so my aim is to use the information I have to try and encourage smart financial decisions. And the assumption I'm willing to make is that, like me, you've noticed that over the years, these 3 categories of undesirable characteristics have become more noticeable in your day-to-day life. So we need to adapt to this. Now, for the most part, the evergreen financial influencer advice still applies. Save a percentage of your income, invest consistently for the long term, and structure your investment accounts in a tax-efficient manner. But you're probably sick to death of hearing this shallow advice. And if you dig a little deeper, Each element of these really basic personal finance concepts have hundreds of variables affecting them and how likely you are to actually execute on the advice. And my aim is to put you in a position to maximize those odds. So let's talk about how we can counteract these and still do all of this nonsense. Let's start off with this study. After proving how bad people's decision-making skills were with their phones, they attempted to use some basic methods to attenuate the bad habits. The most successful one was arguably the most simple, implementing a required time delay before anyone could make any final decisions. I know this sounds a bit wishy-washy, but truly there's some merit to this. There's a real power in just stopping before you make a financial decision when you're in the midst of one of these ridiculous dopamine binges. So bargain with yourself. Don't cut down on your phone time, but anytime you make a financial decision, be that buying something, investing, moving savings around, whatever, just stop. Put your phone down for 30 seconds, take a breath, and think clearly. If you still want to buy $10,000 of GameStop stock after that, at least you've tried to stop yourself. The next trick is a little more interesting and is one I've actually found myself using lately. It's almost the complete opposite of the last one, but hear me out. I've found myself actually leaning into the detrimental behavioral characteristics to my benefit. I'll be honest, over the last 3 years or so, I've let my long-term ETF investing approach slip. I haven't made the investments I promised myself I would on a monthly basis nearly as consistently as I should. So I've opted to just click a couple of buttons on my investing app of choice to set up daily recurring payments to cover the total monthly cost I should be making. Now, there is something about receiving a daily notification showing my investment and seeing that graph go up that hits a similar degenerate dopamine spike as scrolling TikTok or getting a notification from your mate sending you the 8th Instagram reel of the day. I've even found myself adding some additional daily investments at very low costs just to get a little more of the good stuff. Let's call it degenerate sensibleness. So give it a go. If you love that dopamine hit as much as I do, lean into it. We don't need to make every sensible financial decision we make as miserable as possible. So, phones really do affect your financial decision making, and more often than not, it's negatively. But there are ways you can avoid this, and as I've shown, even use it to your advantage. Most of all, just having the awareness of what most likely is subconsciously going on is a huge step in the right direction for most. Now, similarly to me enabling you all to keep binging brain-rotting content by saying you don't necessarily have to limit your phone use, I like to use an approach with my clients that does absolutely everything in my power to reach financial goals without crushing people's quality of life by becoming quote-unquote savers. Because it's just depressing and unsustainable, and trust me, it doesn't have to be that way. I've given a great example of how you can save thousands a year without giving up your daily luxuries that make life worth living in the video linked here. It's worth a watch. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.